Hi, it's me again with Corel Tips and Tricks. Part 5 of this, not really necessary, but before I closed the file down, I remembered that this box had legs on it. This would be pretty easy to do because nothing really would change except for the legs. And the good thing about it, the pieces are identical. The left and right and sides are identical. So you only need to change two pieces. Whenever I do that, I'm going to keep the original in case I mess up. The bottom is not going to change. The lid's not going to change. But what I would do in this case would be to draw in the center of the page. So this is the bottom, and you can always tell the top does not have any fingers in it. So I'm going to draw in the center of the page. To me, it makes life a little easier. And you can do anything you want to with it. This is the bottom of the box, and then the other part is going to go through here. So we can't go past this line with the leg. So, and this box in the picture was done with different type joints, but this will still work, and you can add the legs. So because we're working in the center of the page, I think it'll make it a little easier. I'm going to say that I'm going to make the legs 1/4 inch long. So I'm going to take a line. I'm going to set my nudge factor on 0.25 and hit enter. Then I can nudge this line down 1/4 inch. And that way we can do both legs. I'm going to zoom in. So we need to just kind of make a leg. I'm going to go ahead and change that line to a hairline. And I am going to take the 3-point curve line, and I'm just going to go from like right there to right there, and then just, use your imagination. Maybe hold down the control button and make it a perfect curve. I'm doing the same thing I did last night with nothing selected. I'm using somebody else's file, and I just never updated it. Hairline, red, and okay. Now when I draw in a hairline. Just remember, don't have anything selected. So I'm going to go about right there to right there because you want a foot on it. Hold down the control button to kind of make a good sweep. Then take a 2-point line and go from that line to that line. And then you can take the virtual segment delete key and delete that line. And you have that leg. Now we want them equal on both sides. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually cut away this line. See how the indexing line stops it. I am going to make the smart fill of this line, and that filled up all the joints. I'm going to left click, right click, and because it's equal from side to side, it's still in the center of the page, I can Control D and make a duplicate and mirror it. Now I've got legs on both sides that are exactly equal. Now we have double lines up top, but we're going to get rid of that when we get rid of these two lines and take our smart fill tool and fill that in, and there's your two legs on both sides. Make sure it's a hairline, and it is. Delete this one, and you can see what it did. And then here's one of your parts. And remember, I kept the original over here, so in case I messed up. But now I can delete either delete it or keep it if you ever want to make a box that doesn't have a lid or doesn't have a legs. So now and then you would make a duplicate of that, hitting the plus key or Control D, and then there's your left or that's actually your front and your back. So now we're going to hit P again, and this one should be about the same, with the exception that we can go all the way to this line. It should just snap right to that. So I'm going to go, and I can go right to this line. Remember we used a 1/4 inch nudge. So I'm just going to put that line there, nudge it down 1/4 inch. There's my leg. That's my length for my leg. And you could actually, let's see if we can't really, this is not in the center of the page because of this loop over here. So this one's going to be a little bit different. We could, and whenever I use one for a demo I'm going to hit the plus key, I'm not going to mess up my original. I am going to do this. That way I can change that. We don't even need this line anymore because we got this now. And now I'm going to snap right to that. And it's really not going to work perfectly. I'm going to change my nudge factor to something pretty low. And I'm going to nudge this over. Well, it's so little that's not low enough, 0.001. That's why laser engravers put stuff at 0.001. So we're really right on it. So this new leg is going to be thicker. There's no two ways about it. Probably the best thing to do would be to just take a rectangle tool and go from that corner to that corner, and then delete some nodes. We're going to delete some lines. We're going to delete that. We're going to delete that. That needs to stay there. But we need to really do it on both sides because we've got that hinge part that is not going to mirror perfectly. So we're going to go right here and right here. And now we should be able to move our other box. Well, it left the lines. Let's try this. Let's try this. And you know what? I'm not exactly, I'm close enough for the video anyway. I'm going to take see how we could do this. Well, what I'm going to do now is make my nudge factor like 2 inches. And I'm going to nudge one of these boxes out of the way. So this is what we need. We just need these other lines. So here's one thing we can do. I nudged it 2, I'm going to nudge it again. I'm going to take, and I'm going to take this one right here and go right click and break the curve apart. Now I'm going to go to object and break the curve apart totally. Look at that. I'm going to nudge that line right over. Now we don't need, I don't think we need that line, so I'm just going to cut it out. You know what? There might not be a line there. So we're going to do the same thing over here. We'll just have to look at it. Grab that line right there, or that node, right click, break it apart, but you need to go to object and break the curve apart because it's all one piece, and then just nudge that over. Well, I messed up and I didn't get that line, but we can draw a line. Take your 2-point line, hold it on that node, start moving, and then hit the control button. So I don't know why that line's not deleting. There it is. So that's our legs for our new box. And once again, Smart Fill tool, fill it in and move that over. And we haven't changed anything. Everything should work. I'm going to go ahead and delete all our excess. I'm going to left click, no fill, right click, outline. And just remember that because they're identical, all you need to do is Control D and make a duplicate. And these are your left and right side. This is your front or your back. That's your lid, that's your bottom. So everything is exactly the same. So when this box is put together, the legs are basically going to look like that in the corner. Much like, it's a little bit, let me have it snap to that corner. Much like, one side's going to be a little bit shorter, much like this, but they used a different joint than I'm doing. They actually have joints on the corner where I don't have joints on the corner. But that makes it a pretty cool little box. Anyway, I hope that helped. Thank you for watching.